You think groceries are expensive in your country? Well, let me take you to the UK.
Many people in the UK cannot afford food, and it is definitely getting way too much now.
Tell me why it cost me. Guess how much these cost? Aldi, right? The cheap kind, right? 90p. 90p.
Guys, it's a sad day in the UK because apparently Tesco just increased their meal deal price to £3.85.
I was in New York. I spent like anywhere between like $12 to $20 on lunch every day.
As if things couldn't get more expensive, there's more bad news for our wallets as the UK inflation figures have just been released.
I'm so sorry, but a Mayo chicken burger used to be 99p. What the hell was £1.50 for a Mayo chicken burger?
Next up, well, we have chocolate. That's gone up by more than 17%, closely followed by coffee, which is up 18%.
I will be honest with you though, the 500 grams of minced beef, it was £5.50, it's now £6.80 in that time frame.
Food shopping in the UK, now featuring bankruptcy with a side of broccoli. Welcome to the UK, where food shopping has officially become a luxury sport. You don't browse the aisles anymore, you navigate them like a hostage negotiator. Want butter? That'll be £12. Fancy a bit of beef? Hope you've got a spare kidney. And chocolate? Only if you're emotionally prepared to spend £17 for a bar that used to cost £1.50. Even milk's out here acting like it's been to private school. You're not shopping for groceries. You're auditioning for a financial thriller. Every item comes with a plot twist. Every checkout beep feels like a personal attack. And every receipt reads like a dystopian poem. So if you've ever stared at your basket and whispered, "This used to be £40," while watching it climb past £120, if you've ever considered switching to a diet of air and sarcasm, if you're tired of pretending that £6 for a loaf of bread is just the economy, this video is for you. Stick around, because we're unpacking the absurdity, the manipulation, and the quiet collapse of affordability in the UK food system. Hit subscribe, because awareness is still free, for now.
I'm so sorry, but a Mayo chicken burger used to be 99p. What the hell was £1.50 for a Mayo chicken burger? Who's eating that? Who's eating that?
So you see my video saying that the meal deal's gone up from £3 to £3.60. Now it's £4. I literally can't believe this. I've only been in England for 2 months after being away for like 3 years, and it's £4.
I've literally just been here for 2 months and they've gone up in price again.
I know inflation is a thing, but come on, like, this is ridiculous.
For the fourth month in a row then, food prices have risen, and you might be surprised by what has seen some of the biggest rises. So first up we have orange juice and other juices. They're up by more than 8% over the last 12 months. Next up, well, we have chocolate. That's gone up by more than 17%, closely followed by coffee, which is up 18%. But leading the way by some distance is beef. This has gone up by 24%. Food prices as a whole have risen by 37% over the last 5 years, one of the major drivers of inflation.
I think this is the largest food price increase I have seen yet. $37 for 5 chicken breasts. $37, like 40 with tax. That is insane. I don't know how you were supposed to be able to feed a family when 5 chicken breasts are $37. For anyone who's like, okay, but how do I combat this? I would go directly to farmers. You can meet them at your local farmers markets and see if you can build a one-on-one relationship and buy directly from them. The cost is guaranteed to be lower because farmers are not making this much of a markup on their products, on their labor, and this is a lot of price gouging happening in grocery stores. Guaranteed the price will be less. I also think this is going to be a larger move away from going to grocery stores because they're unstable, and at this point they're honestly cruel. They're charging this much. I think that people want more stability and more say in their food. So yeah. Let me know what other food price increases that you guys have seen that are like this dramatic and insane. I genuinely would love to know. And what areas you see the most inflation in.
Here's a quick one. You're going to love this. Or you'll definitely relate to it. So coming from work on Friday, and I said to the missus, we're going to go and get some bits to last us 5 or 6 days from Aldi. 110 quid. This was Friday. Comes in from work yesterday, we need to go to Aldi. What? Yeah, run out of food. So we go to Aldi and I said, we'll spend about 50 quid, just get a few bits for the next couple of days, kids' school stuff, a couple of things for work and stuff like that. And then when it comes to Friday, we'll get another shopping. 85 quid we spent yesterday, and it was a small trolley, and that wasn't even fucking full. That's £185 since Friday in Aldi, and I don't think this food will last until Wednesday or Thursday at least. Slowly but surely, the shopping bill just increases without you even knowing it. Fucking greed again, we're getting fucked over.
As if things couldn't get more expensive, there's more bad news for our wallets as the UK inflation figures have just been released. And get this, food prices have risen for the 6th month in a row. According to the British Retail Consortium, food inflation has shot up to 4% this month. That's compared to 3.7% in June. I mean, that's not just a little bump, that's a serious hike. The main reasons quoted for the rise, a global supply chain squeeze and an increase in taxes from last year's budget. But the bad news, it doesn't stop there, as get this, it's expected to get worse as they're warning us that any upcoming tax increases in the autumn could push prices even higher. I mean, can you imagine paying even more for your weekly shop? Staples like meat and tea are taking the biggest hits, so if you're like me, fueled by caffeine and protein, then you might want to budget a little bit more. So how are you planning to tackle these price rises? Let me know in the comments.
Guys, it's a sad day in the UK because apparently Tesco just increased their meal deal price to £3.85. What is going on in the House of Commons? Because at this point, you might as well just call it a meal. Get rid of the deal part in a meal deal because this is no longer a meal deal for £3.85. Just to put things into perspective, it started off as £3 meal deal. Then it went up to £3.45. Then it went up to £3.65. And now it's £3.85 on a club card. Mind you, if you do not have a Tesco club card, it's £4.25 for a meal quote unquote deal. It's not even a deal. Now in all seriousness, this might not seem like such a big deal to some of you guys, but listen, meal deals are an integral part of British society and sometimes people rely on it to just eat. And the whole part of it being a meal deal is the emphasis on the deal part. So let's get a meal deal and let's just commemorate the last ever time I'm gonna get a Tesco meal deal. Okay, I possibly lied in this moment. Rate my meal deal down below what you think about it. And guys, £3.85 for a meal deal. £3, that's nearly £4. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Not to be dramatic, but one of the biggest differences I've noticed between living in New York and London is how much I spend on lunch. When I was in New York, I spent like anywhere between like $12 to $20 on lunch every day. I'm really bad at meal prepping, but I would say between $12 and $20 was like the norm. Sometimes that would equate to like $50, $60 a week, depending on how much I actually spent. And if I got like chips, crisps, chips, whatever, and a drink, forget about it. In London, I'd say I usually spend between £3 and £6, sometimes a little bit more, but like it's very cheap. I usually get a meal deal from Sainsbury's, which is a sandwich or wrap, crisps / chips for Americans, whatever, and a drink for £3.25. The fact that I could spend £3 on lunch is so crazy to me. Even if I don't get a meal deal, I usually spend like £5 on a sandwich, which honestly is not bad. So usually for the week on lunch, I spend around £15 to £20, which is probably more than I should, but like it's still not crazy compared to the $50, $60 that I would spend in New York. Yes, I do get paid less here, but we're not gonna talk about that.
I really don't know where the UK went wrong, because currently I'm in a supermarket in France and there is nothing more exciting than being in a supermarket in Europe, be Italy, Spain or France, because I've done all of the three of them. I don't know really what's wrong with the UK, because I'm going to show you, for example, the yogurt section in France. So here we go, guys. Look how many options we can choose from, right? In the UK, in any shops, I'm going to have this option, and that's it. We have so many options to choose from. The supermarkets are vibrant. They look good. You actually want to buy things. They place the small producer products in front of you. You want to eat there. You want to have a good life. You really enjoy eating in France, in Spain, in Italy. And that's the difference. People are depressed and unhappy in the UK because nothing there makes sense. Like, make that make sense. We are so close to Europe. Paris is literally 2 hours from London. You can't tell me that you can make something happen. I understand there is the Brexit, but that doesn't make any sense. And that's why people are depressed.
You guys wouldn't think that I'm on a budget today because look at this shit.
Yeah, give me.
I think this is what happens when you haven't had. If you guys saw my fridge is absolutely empty. I literally emptied my entire fridge. When I say empty, literally empty. There is like absolutely nothing left in my fridge. Even my freezer, I think it only has ice while it's in my freezer. My cabinet only has like ketchup, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, cream, sugar, flour, and what my fridge is, some grapes, a little bit of fruit. And that's basically it. Like, I've literally been trying to avoid the grocery shop, just so I could see it. But here I am, doing a big shop, and just shit last year. The next 2 months, because I will literally eat everything until it's gone. We will have tuna fish sandwiches on garlic bread, which is really good, by the way. You guys should try it. But yeah, anyway, let's see how much this comes to. Bye, guys.
Grocery shopping's costing me 40 quid more every week, and I want to find out why. Well, it turns out that food prices in the UK have been rising all year. You've probably noticed, but things like dairy products such as cheese has jumped up by as much as 25% in April compared to the same time last year. Factors such as increased expenses for farmers and businesses, including the impact of the war in the Ukraine and shipping costs during the pandemic, contributed to rising costs. But that doesn't explain why countries like Japan, the US and Canada have kept their prices low. One reason why the food in the UK has gone up so much is because of Brexit making it harder for farmers to find overseas workers. That's why the government has announced plans to offer 45,000 visas to overseas fruit and vegetable pickers, and farmers have been calling for fairer deals with supermarkets. But the situation presents a challenge for the government as it seeks to strike a balance between supporting farmers and addressing the cost of living crisis.
Gone into the shop to buy pindia, yeah, bought a kilo, must have bought 2 keys of pindia, yeah. 2 keys of pindia, the same price as 3 chickens. 2 keys of vegetables, so 2 kilos of pindia, which is basically, what do you call them in English? What do you call pindia in English, bro? Comment it down below. I don't know, I ain't a genius like that. But 2 kilos of pindia, the same price as 3 chickens. So you trying to tell me I can buy 3 chickens for the price of 2 kilos of pindia? Who's eating them pindia, bro? Pindia are dry, bro. On top of that, they're the same price as 3 chickens. So I could buy 3 chickens. And bro, you can eat 3 chickens for what, 3 days, bro? Pindia 2 kilos be gone, bro. By the time you fry them and you make them, bro, the pindia have shrunk. Now 2 kilos have turned into a half a kilo. Who's buying this pindia for these prices, bro? Must have said like, what, £8 a key? Are you dumb? £8 a key for pindia. What is it, bro? You ain't Colombian cocaine. It's pindia, bro. I don't know what you call it in English. But it's a vegetable. The bottom line is a vegetable can't be the same price as meat, because meat is protein. I don't know if pindia give you some special powers. I don't know what they do. But pindia are dry, bro. If you knew what I'm on about, you'd know.
Is it just me, or are food shops getting more and more expensive? You pop into your local Tesco for a quick bite to eat, expect to spend about £10 or £20. You leave, they've taken about 200 quid off you and the clothes off your back. I'm sorry, but even with the club card, these prices are absolutely extortionate. The cost of living crisis has got everybody in a chokehold. So many people in the UK cannot afford food, and it is definitely getting way too much now. The markups of these supermarkets is insane, because the amount of products that they buy, and they buy it for so cheap, they are marking up the prices so high. I saw a statistic the other day, and it's 44% of people in the UK are scared to go food shopping because they don't want to buy anything, because they don't know if they can actually afford it. How are we living in the UK in 2025 where people cannot afford food? This is a joke. Don't even get me started on olive oil, because you're looking at about £10 a bottle for olive oil now, and it is absolutely insane. So many products of items are going so expensive and people just cannot afford it. It is wild. But it's not just Tesco, it's Sainsbury's, Asda, Lidl, Morrison's, you name it, it is all pricey. To be honest, Aldi and Lidl are probably the slightly cheaper sides, but even that is definitely gone up in price since even 2022. Look at the prices of 2022 compared to now. It is extortionate. Even the meal deal is about a fiver these days.
Why has the grocery bill here in the UK skyrocketed just lately? Is it due to the grocery tax on some products, which are items? I'll give you an example here, right? Now this one £1.75. And the date on here is the 25th of the 5th, 25. Right, so that is the 25th of May. Now then, this one, £1.99. And the date on this one is 22nd of the 6th, 25. So virtually between these two packets, there's a month, right? But the increase is over 13.5%. That's just on one item, an increase of 13.5% or over 13.5%. And the pensioners, they got 4.1%. So there's something not quite right. But because of the packaging on this, it could be all to do with the grocery tax, which is a levy put on certain items and to try and keep us down to get down to net zero, so, you know, on packaging. I'd like to share, follow, like, read the comments. That'd be great. Okay.
Oh my god. UK inflation prices are fucking insane, bro. Insane. Too much for me. Tell me why it cost me. Guess how much these cost? Aldi, right? The cheap kind, right? Guess how much? If you think like 50p, no. 90p. 90p. What the fuck? That took mostly all my money. And then, Miss Molly's chocolate. Guess how much this cost? The really cheapy kind chocolate, and it's already broken, but I love it broken. You know how it has on there? I eat it like 1, 2. 1, 2, yep. Oh, someone just sent me a message. Guess how much this was? If you said like 49p, 39p, how it used to be, it's 59p. What the fuck? And this one? Guess how much this is? I ate half of it, but it's not really half. Guess how much? Aldi? 59p? That's all my money gone. What the f? And you know what actually drives me fucking crazy? I saw a video just now. I just saw a video just now of this girl eating so much food in one day, and everyone's like calling her a fat pig and all that, even though you only live once. Why eat what people tell you to eat? I've had nothing to eat all day, right? And people are gonna comment being like, oh, you shouldn't buy snacks. I'm like, shut up. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does this. Which just breaks them up into two. Just to make everyone jealous, you know? You know, these snacks go in like 1 second. But the thing is, what people don't understand is that I fucking walk it off. Why?
You think groceries are expensive in your country? Well, let me take you to the UK. This is a grocery haul from Ocado. Here is some oat milk for lactose-intolerant people, which is a great alternative. Next, I have red onions. This is just 1 week of groceries, by the way, and for one single person. I hope you can compare the prices from your country or where you live. So this is slow cooked Korean barbecue chicken, 2 portions. I also had 2 beef fillet, which are really expensive. It costed me almost like 25-30 pounds, some carrots, some bread. Here are British strawberries. Honestly, they weren't that delicious. I got some corn as well, which was not really delicious. The avocados are fine because they're not from the UK. Some Oatly oat milk cream. Here I have some bacon, some asparagus. Here is the snacks bag, some Pringles. They weren't nice. I don't know why they were really dry and tasteless. Some fava beans, which I really like and recommend if you're having a vegetarian vegan diet. Some coffee, some chewing gums, and my favorite bread, Hobbit seeded cob. I really recommend it. Some baby butter mushrooms. I don't know why the cherries that I ordered were open. I think the driver opened them and took half of them. Here are some peppers, red peppers, some tomatoes. I really recommend these tomatoes if you are doing your groceries from Ocado. Here is some baby jam, some garbage bags, and these biscuits, sponge fingers. I don't know why I bought them. It was a mistake. I also have some bulgur, just an alternative to rice, and this Fanta because I wanted to try it, and some kimchi for the chicken. And here is the gift from Ocado. So for all of this, I spent £84. Tell me, what can you buy for £84 in your country, and do you think that is really expensive? Comment below.
Why is beef so blooming expensive? Let's have a quick look and we'll make it fun, don't worry about it. So, the national average for beef inflation in the last year is a whopping 24.8%. 24.8% is very, very high. And do you know why it's like that? Because farmers are going out of business. And farmers are going out of business because people don't support them with fair prices. Supermarket.
Guys, it's time for an advert break. This is an advert break. We're British farmers. We sell lamb, beef, pork and mutton direct to you guys through our website, delivered to your home. Also, we give away monthly meat prizes on our monthly meat raffle, and we're giving away one of these quarter beef boxes. Only £5 a ticket, link in the bio.
Thank you, John. Back to the studio. So, let's have a look at some of our prices over the last year. So our quarter beef box was £650, including butchery and delivery. All of our prices include butchery and delivery. We do smaller options as well, also sell lamb, pork and mutton. It's now £695, which puts us up at 6.92%, and we felt bad for doing it. Sorry guys. However, it's much less than a 24.8% national average. Our half beef, 1,200 up to 1,295. That's a 7.92%. Still much lower than the average. The whole beef, it's a lot of money for a lot of meat. We've got £2,300 up to £2,450, which brings us up to a 6.52% increase. It's so much less than the average. And do you know why it's less than the average? It's less than the average because my husband seems to have some sort of problem with loving buying cattle. It's just his favourite thing to do in the whole wide world. I will be honest with you though, the 500 grams of minced beef, it was £5.50, it's now £6.80 in that time frame. Now that puts it at a 23.6% increase, still less than the 24.8% national average. However, our £5.50 was a stupid price. It was a stupid price, it was not profitable, and actually we were basically not even breaking even at that point. We were pretty much selling minced beef at a loss because we didn't work out our prices correctly. So everything that we sell is below the national average of inflation in the last year. But a special mention for our whole and half lamb and mutton boxes, which at most have gone up 2%. Some of them 0% in that time frame. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Don't forget to buy a raffle ticket.
Yes, guys, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. Just finished work. I'm at home chilling, relaxing. You know, there's some big news. The UK economy, inflation, it's gone up to 3.8%. Last time, 3.6%. I just wanted to do a little breakdown on why this is happening. One of the reasons is the cost of doing business has gone up. Employers now have to pay employees a higher minimum wage. And, you know, this is overburdening the employers. So what they're doing to combat this is to put the extra cost onto the consumer. So now we're having to pay higher prices for goods and services. Another factor affecting inflation is the food. We used to be in the European Union and we used to get preferred rates when importing food from the European Union. But now we're out of the European Union. They've made doing business with them a bit more difficult, and they've increased the rates of importing food from them. So, you know, our negotiations with these countries haven't been going well. They wanted us a part of the European Union to get those preferred rates.
but it doesn't look like that's happening. And the cost of doing business locally is more expensive. Farmers want to be paid because the UK is expensive, and that's understandable. But, you know, something is not adding up in this UK economy. And then another thing is airfares. If you've noted over the last few years, the price of travelling has gone up. And the main factor behind this is, of course, the war in Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia, they've been fighting for the last few years. They've lost some territory. We used to get oil from and gas from Russia, and it was cheap. But now that's been, now we've cut ties with Russia completely. We have to purchase oil and gas from other partners, and they're charging us a premium. So airfare prices have gone up. A lot of experts now are saying inflation potentially can go up to 4% by next year, or 2027, the end of 2020, by next year. And then by the end of 2027, it will slowly creep back down to 2%. You know, that is a possibility, and that's an optimistic outlook. But the way I see it is, unless we can go back into the European Union to get those preferred rates, the food prices are going to continue to go up unless somebody finds some technological solution where it is cheaper to make food locally. In terms of the war, you know, Trump met with Putin recently, so there is some hope there that he'll be able to end the war in Ukraine, and then potentially we might re-establish ties with Russia so we can continue to get the cheap oil and gas from them, and then the fares might reduce. And in terms of the minimum wage, unless the business owner themselves are willing to eat the cost of this minimum wage bill, I don't see the prices of goods and services going down. So yeah, that's my take on it. It's looking a bit bleak, but we'll see what happens over time.
So here we are. You made it to the end of the video, which means you've survived another deep dive into the absurdity of modern life. Congratulations. You've endured the emotional rollercoaster of watching your weekly shop morph into a financial horror film. You've laughed, maybe winced, maybe paused to check your last receipt just to confirm, yes, that bag of grapes really did cost more than your electricity bill in 2003. But let's strip away the sarcasm for a moment. Let's talk about what this actually means. Because this isn't just about food, it's about dignity. It's about the quiet erosion of normalcy. It's about the psychological toll of pretending everything's fine when everything is clearly falling apart. We're told to budget better, to shop smarter, to cut back on luxuries, as if the problem is our avocado addiction, and not the fact that basic staples now require a spreadsheet and a minor panic attack. We're gaslit into believing that inflation is just a temporary inconvenience, that it's global, complex, unavoidable. But here's the truth. When corporations post record profits, while shelves get emptier and prices climb higher, that's not inflation, that's exploitation. When governments shrug and say, there's nothing we can do, while CEOs cash bonuses and supermarkets hike prices faster than wages, that's not economics, that's abandonment. And when we're told to be grateful for discounts on items that used to be affordable without a discount, that's not generosity, that's manipulation. Let's talk about the emotional math, the kind that doesn't show up on spreadsheets, the kind that lives in the pit of your stomach when you realize you can't afford the same food you bought last year, the kind that gnaws at you when your child asks for something simple, cereal, fruit, juice, and you have to say, not this week. The kind that makes you feel like you're failing, even though you're doing everything right. This is the cost of living crisis, not just in pounds and pence, but in pride and peace of mind. It's the slow, grinding humiliation of watching your purchasing power evaporate while being told to smile through it. It's the normalization of struggle, the quiet acceptance of scarcity, the societal shrug that says, well, what can you do? But here's the thing, we can do something. We can stop pretending this is normal. We can stop accepting that food, literal survival, is a luxury. We can stop letting billionaires write the rules while the rest of us ration our lives. Because this isn't just about food, it's about power. It's about who gets to live comfortably and who gets to live cautiously. It's about who gets to eat without guilt and who gets to choose between dinner and dignity. And if you're watching this thinking, it's not just me, you're right. It's not just you, it's millions. It's a generation that's been priced out of everything. Homes, hope, and now ham. We've been told to hustle harder, dream bigger, and settle for less. We've been sold the myth of meritocracy while the cost of entry keeps rising. We've been taught that struggle is character building, that poverty is a personal failure, that asking for fairness is entitlement. But let me say this clearly, you are not the problem. You are not lazy. You are not overspending. You are not imagining it. You are living in a system that rewards greed and punishes need. You are surviving in a society that treats basic rights as business opportunities. You are enduring a reality that was designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. And still, you're here, still watching, still questioning, still refusing to go quietly. That's powerful. That's resistance. That's the beginning of something bigger. Because awareness is contagious. And once you see the cracks, you start to see the whole structure. Once you name the injustice, you start to reclaim your voice. Once you stop blaming yourself, you start demanding better. So what do we do now? We speak, we share, we organize, we vote with our wallets, our words, our presence. We support independent voices. We challenge narratives. We refuse to be gaslit into silence. We stop laughing off the pain and start naming it. We stop accepting crumbs and start asking why there's a feast we're not invited to. We stop apologizing for wanting fairness and start demanding it. Because this isn't just about food. It's about the future. It's about whether we want to live in a world where survival is a subscription service, where dignity is dynamic pricing, where humanity is monetized. And if that sounds dramatic, good. It should. Because what's happening is dramatic. And it deserves more than a shrug. It deserves outrage. It deserves action. It deserves a movement. So if you've ever felt alone in this, know that you're not. If you've ever felt ashamed, know that you shouldn't. If you've ever felt powerless, know that you're not.